Hey, this is Soul with another video, and I want to react to a pretty big change that's coming in patch 8.2 that I'm sure that people are not going to like, and hey, I don't like it either. In the upcoming patch, which will come out, I don't know, in the next 2, 3, 4, 7 weeks, I don't know, when you turn off the ability to gain experience in the world through NPCs like this lovely fellow over here in the screenshot, you're going to receive a debuff that looks like this, and I'm going to read it off for you. Experience gains from quests and kills vastly reduced. Someone in your party has chosen to no longer gain experience. I really like this last part. Let me reread it.
Someone in your party has chosen to no longer gain experience.
That's like a great example of passive-aggressive speak. Anyway, this makes it so that anyone in that person's party or raid within 200 yards, it doesn't matter whether they're inside or outside, they're going to gain 95% reduced experience. The goal of this buff or debuff, it's kind of funny because it's in the same line as buffs, but it's clearly a debuff anyway. It's to shut down level boosting with level 110 twinks. So this is a practice where I, who is the customer, would pay the twink who is decked out in Antora's raid gear and Legion legendaries and that sort of stuff. They can take me to an instance like Freehold or Island Expeditions, and they'll just wipe the map. They'll just kill everything, and I'll gain tons and tons of experience, and I'll be able to get from 110 to 120 in just a few short hours. Where without such convenience, it would take me much longer to do. It would take like 15 hours of game time. I don't mean to be sarcastic. It's worth it to buy a boost, but that's still just like a day. At any rate, the internet has been on fire over the last day or so, with the Twitter like farmers and the WoW haters and the classic WoW lovers, all coming out in force. And then there's me to just kind of talk about this for a few minutes. And hey, I'm glad to be here. There are a few concerns that have been brought up, and least of all being what's so obvious. It's the nerfing of what was the fastest way of leveling through BFA content. I get where Blizzard's coming from in this case, because leveling at this speed crosses a line, or it crosses their line of tolerance. They were cool with islands being farmable without the whole XP thing. They were cool with Legion invasions being farmable like whenever they were up, and my hope is that faction assaults in BFA are going to have their experience gains buffed considerably via hotfix. But cracking Freehold like an egg is just going too far. Another concern, I guess, is the potential griefing with this sort of change. I mean, imagine if I turned off my XP gains and then I queued up into a dungeon, I got in, and then like a dick, I'm basically poisoning a run because now no one else is able to gain experience. And fortunately, it's not even going to happen. Here's a statement from Blizzard. This won't happen, which is a great way to lead off. This change only affects groups that manually invite player characters who have XP off. There is no impact on players who find themselves automatically grouped by the matchmaker while doing PvP or group finder dungeons. This change also doesn't affect anyone who has turned off XP for their own benefit, such as plundering old raids while keeping their level low enough to use their Agromar Stride boots. The most common platform that I'm seeing is the angle of, hey Blizz, can you just quit nerfing leveling because leveling sucks and we just want to get it over with? I can't argue with that. We all feel differently. Like for me, I don't really care too much about the change. It doesn't really affect me. I actually do like questing, even repeating the questing over and over again. I just like playing the game. But for many of us who do like playing alts, it does get monotonous. Leveling the same 3 zones over and over again, or doing the same rounds of islands or dungeons or the faction assaults or the time walk-in, which as far as I know is not getting their XP nerfed. Okay, that's actually, a decent variety of stuff, but it still takes like a whole day to level. And okay, I'm sorry, I'm framing this sarcastically again. Sorry. What I'm saying is that leveling an alt over and over again does get really boring. This whole thing is the perfect shitstorm between the cloud hovering over Battle for Azeroth itself and the cardinal no-no of giving us something and then taking it away at like the worst time. And this is pretty bad time. On top of that, there's a lack of communication and the fact that this experience buff came at what's pretty much the last minute. Blizzard's silence means that we can make up the worst reason for this change happening, like something ActaBlizz, and we can run with it. For all we know, by the time I get this video out, even though I'm like the umpteenth person to get this out so late, Blizzard is going to remind us that, hey, in 8.2, you're going to be able to fly. Oh, and by the way, 8.2, Faction Assault XP is going to be buffed to something stupid, so that the feeling of leveling is going to be pretty much on par as Legion Invasions of yore, and I don't think that's so bad. But how do you really feel about this? Oh, I think it's hella stupid for one big reason, and I don't think anyone can argue with this one. We're 10 months into the expansion. It's like halfway, but not halfway. Now is not the time to do a big nerf like this to disrupt player behavior. Blizzard clearly wants to do this, so this really should have been announced in some way, shape, or form much sooner. Like even at the very beginning of the patch cycle, they're saying that, hey, we are going to address this at some point. It's going to happen. We don't know exactly what it is, but we'll let you know. And yeah, that didn't quite happen. I'd speculate that while this change is going to make it to the patch, the values can change. This 95% nerf could turn into, okay, well, it doesn't matter what it turns into. If it's not 0% nerf, then people are still going to be pissed off. This is just my opinion, but gutting twink boosting would have hardly gotten any attention at all if this had happened either at the start of Battle for Azeroth or at the start of whatever the heck expansion we're getting next. Because getting the timing right and doing it at that point, you don't have an argument of, hey, Blizzard, you gave us something and you took it away, because they never gave it to us in the first place. We don't have a reference to call upon. I understand Blizzard's reasoning here, that because there is such an easy path to leveling itself became less meaningful. It just became one more chore. In the past, I've noticed that there were fewer complaints over leveling, but I'd argue that it's not because the leveling was that much more fun. Like, don't give me that. Don't give me that. I was there. Trust me. But Blizzard, I'm trying to talk you folks kind of directly here. When you take away the path of least resistance in such a jarring way, whether it's a leveling path or flight or split runs, I guess, people are going to get pretty mad. So next time, don't get the timing better, okay? And people, I get that you're tired of leveling alt after alt, but I also think it's pretty reasonable to say that doing literally nothing but sitting there and just watching your levels go up, I think that's a bit much. Those are my thoughts. Like, follow, subscribe, or something, and stay breezy.